But we'll keep that to ourselves because we're now on. We're live.
Uh-oh.
To us to say such things.
Yes. Excuse me. Yes, potty mouth Alyssa does appear on occasion. It happens.
Technical issues.
What a weekend. Can I suggest that if anyone is attending a convention, that if it's more than 4 hours drive away, don't do it. Just, stay at home. It's not, say for example, if you live in the UK and you want to go to San Diego, no, that's more than 5 hours. 4 hours, forget it. Stay home.
And you can't drive there either, Leonard. You can't drive to San Diego from the UK.
You can. You've got those pedal boats that you can get down at Brighton Beach, but it takes a while. Yeah, I drove down to Brighton for Ice Comic-Con, the summer season or summer event that they put on. And while it was a lot of fun, I then also drove back yesterday, and I am shattered. So I'll be having a cup of tea, very much so, in a second.
Oh.
Hello there. Welcome along.
You've got some information to talk to us about the ice show yesterday. Didn't you host a few panels?
I hosted a panel.
Ah.
I thought
it was few.
But but the panel that I hosted, it was with a guy who doesn't come to the UK that often, and to be honest, there was a bit of a language barrier. But we'll talk about this as
oh boy.
It's the teaser pre-show is what we're doing right now.
It's always fun as this. Our teaser pre-show. And then close that, and close that. But we do have the Q&A up and running, as always, if you do want to jump in and say hello. Andrew English is now decided he's now going to call me Andy Cap, which, by the way, everyone outside of the UK won't know what the hell the reference is, but I do. Cap is a kid. So I know what Andy Cap is. Andrew Dickinson, hi. I thought the F1 was on at 6, so you're lucky. Yeah, when is that? Are we clashing? Are we going to be upsetting everybody that wants to watch the F1? Corgi Commander, good morning from Drury, California. Then again, aren't you at E3, sir? You're supposed to be having a good weekend. Oh, it's on at 7. We'll talk quick. Okay, we'll try and get the show done for 7 o'clock so everyone can go and watch the F1. There's always a language barrier when we're talking to the Englishman. I have to have Urban Dictionary open in a separate tab. Not that bad, am I?
Just to clarify, okay. F1, Formula One racing?
Yes.
Thank you. Speaking of language barrier.
Yes. Brum brums. Going down in the brum brums.
Just checking.
Yeah. It's basically like NASCAR, but they can turn right on occasion. Dan Berry looks like Brolin got a haircut for his role as Cable. He posted a pic on Instagram. Really? Oh, okay. He's gone buzz cut for that. Okay. E3 public days start on Tuesday, so say Corgi Commander. Oh, right. Okay. I thought it was this weekend. You see, I keep getting confused. My dates are all blurring into one at this point.
I think it's industry days over the weekend, and then the public sessions will be later during the Monday, Tuesday.
Gotcha. Good morning, afternoon, night, nerds, says Kitty Gunn. Hello, Kitty. How are you? Craig Lindez. He knows Andy Cap. He also knows F1 as well. He's gearing up for that. Right. Bear with me 5 seconds.
Uh-oh. He's going off for tea.
Uh-oh. Gearing up.
Oh, no. Yes, and that was me. Sorry, just getting myself set up here. I was running a little bit late behind myself. So, Mark, we'll be talking summer movies.
Lovely.
And Kevin, summer TV.
Yep.
And
I'm wearing a shirt for the occasion, which is more about Clone Club.
Last night. Yeah.
Yes.
I do not partake myself, but you had mentioned that you were expecting some Twitter activity last night, so that was
yes.
a nice thing.
Hold on a second. I'm going to probably put you on mute because I got a little entry coming in here. Okay.
Well,
No.
a little entry or a little exit? I'm thinking of.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, hello. Hold on a second. Let me just. I'm going to put the camera on.
Gotta go.
Oh, no.
I'll talk to you in a little bit.
We didn't get to see her. Hello,
Okay, quickly, you can come in and say a quick hello.
Hi.
Okay.
Hello there. How are you?
You say good.
I'm good.
Okay, get going.
This is where she's just staring at the screen. Oh, there she yeah. Oh my word. Okay. Hello there, everybody. Welcome on to Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name is Leonard Sultana, and this is our live show where we talk every week about Comic-Con, con culture, and all the stuff and nonsense that goes around it. We have ourselves an interesting show today. We were going to be having a special guest from somebody who was going to represent about the Eisners, but unfortunately he had to drop out first thing. Or last thing, sorry, which means, thankfully, what was going to be a very actually have a bit more time to breathe with our fantastic guest as is. Before we introduce those very quickly, once again, if you do want to interact with the show, because this is all about you and your experience at Comic-Con, if you do want to interact, do let us know with your questions on the YouTube Q&A. And of course, you can use the hashtag on Twitter, CupOTSDCC. I do my best to keep an eye on that as well as we go throughout the show. This gives you an idea of my weekend so far. This is the cup which I usually drink from. That's the cup I'm drinking from today because it's just been a fun one. I've done a lot of driving, a lot of up and down the M1 because I attended the ICE International Comics Expo summer event in Brighton, which is a bit of a journey for myself, but a lot of fun. And we'll talk about that as a little bit later on in the show. So our guest today, we're all going to be talking about the content, not only that you can see on your big and small screens coming up over the course of the coming months, but also which may be represented at San Diego Comic-Con this year. We have ourselves my regular partner in crime, Alyssa Franks from the Friends of Comic-Con Forum. Hello, Alyssa. How are you?
I'm well. It's been a lot of tidbits have been happening this weekend on the forum, this week on the forum. We did get one person posted they hadn't received their pin in their box.
Really?
Since the badges are being mailed out. And that gentleman said that he contacted CCI and they said that they would be having pins in the sales pavilion for people who did not receive them. I don't know how they're going to verify it, but if you didn't get your pin, there is a way to get one.
Well, I was kind of hoping as well that certainly for like the internationals and the presses, there's going to be like piles of these boxes, which they're just going to hand you. Because I want a pin, and I'm certain Mark wants a pin. And
yeah, please.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I basically want someone cosplaying as Oprah going, you get a pin, and you get a pin, and everyone gets a pin. Yay! Giving it all of that.
Speaking of press notifications, I did receive a notification for my press badge being sent to me. So we'll see whether or not it actually comes in the plain brown envelope that it came in last year, or I actually get a box. I'm hoping I get a box because I would like the booklet. You know, that would be the big thing.
Yes, but we're getting a free badge, so we're not going to get treated to niceties like that.
We'll see. You know, maybe if you check in, you'll get a pin. Who knows? Okay. Or we'll get it in the box. There have been a couple of downtown hotels lists come up on the On Peak site. Even an MMM came up for all 4 nights. I think it lasted maybe a minute or two, and it was snatched up. So, but keep your eyes out for that. And the last bit of news is that New York City Comic-Con fan verification is reopening on Tuesday. If you were not fan verified before and have not already gotten your badge, you can get verified and presumably purchase on Tuesday.
Indeed. I was about to mention that, so thank you very much indeed for pointing that out. We are hopefully going to be doing a show about New York Comic-Con within the next couple of weeks, but we're trying to find out the best time to schedule that, because obviously the news is going to be coming thick and fast about San Diego Comic-Con, and next week we're actually going to be doing a show based around D23 as well. So we're trying to work out a way we can actually schedule that we can put something about New York Comic-Con into our listings. Thank you very much indeed, Alyssa. We're also joined by our experts on big and small screen matters. That's right, I'm calling them experts. This is called putting them on the spot. Deal with it. We have okay. If they don't deliver with their expertise, then quite frankly, you can tweet them and not me. We have ourselves Kevin Walwyn, who's joined us from the Friends of Comic-Con forum. Hello, Kevin. How are you?
All right, and how are you?
Not too bad. How's your preparations for SDCC going?
It's interesting. Right now I'm doing a lot, I would say, background work, trying to get into some press rooms, get on my list for, I would say, a couple of studio sites, and also, of course, watching a lot of TV. So aside from watching Wonder Woman 2 times over the last weekend, you know, last night was Orphan Black, so that basically starts my summer season right now. Of course, I'm not
Fair enough.
Much.
Well, I mean, you know what, I've done very little in terms of television watching, because I have just been busy on other things. Shall I tell you what the last television I watched? It was for a Sequart article that I wrote about Wonder Woman. I watched the pilot that WB put together for Wonder Woman back in 2011.
Ouch.
I believe it was at that point I actually stopped wanting to watch television ever again, because it's soul destroying watching that. Thank God the film came along, otherwise I'd have just wanted to burn the lasso of truth to the ground. It was terrible.
Tell us how you
go,
Leonard. Tell us how you really feel.
So yeah, terrible show. So no, we're going to be talking about upcoming TV, and also what we can expect to see in terms of panels, not only on the bigger rooms, but also in the small rooms as well. So thank you very much indeed for joining us, Kevin. And joining us to talk about the big screen stuff, we have Mark Searby joining us. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Leonard. Thanks for having me on. It's been a while.
Indeed, it always feels like forever since we have you on, because you know it's like touching El Dorado. It's great to have the gold. It's great to have the gold joining us. Then again, you've been a busy boy, as we can see by the poster behind you. Yes. How's it going for the book?
It's going very well. Thanks for asking. It came out on Friday. Had some very nice tweets, some nice feedback. So yes, it's slowly ramping up. My house is half filled with boxes full of the physical book. So I will be selling the physical book. The actual book, I've got one here. Looks like this. It's very nice. It's very shiny.
Yes, it can also act as a small deterrent
against a small doorstop, because this is how thick it is. It is 770 pages. So you know, there you go. You see, so if you want an expensive doorstop, I really can recommend this. It keeps any door open. It really does.
Whoa! It's not that expensive.
That's true. Yes. So no, the book's been going great. I'm really pleased it's out there. You know, 2 years of keeping it secret, and now it's out. So I'm very, very happy. And you know, it's getting a bit of traction. So hopefully, some of the people will who have been interviewed in the book, because there's nearly 70 exclusive interviews, will start putting it on there. I had a weird experience with Michael Rooker a few weeks ago. Which was completely bizarre. I was going to lead on to that. Off you go. Tell the story. Well, I was at Heroes and Villains Fan Fest in London. He was there. I thought, oh, great. I will take him a book, because he starred in Sea of Love with Al Pacino. I thought it'd be nice for him to read it. I get to the table. I say, oh, I've written this book. I'd like to give you a copy. He looks at it and he goes, you wrote this? I was like, yes, I actually wrote this. He went, but you actually wrote this? I'm like, yeah. So you've published this? Yes. Right. Okay, hang on. So he comes round his desk, walks around the front, and about 200 people are waiting to get this guy's autograph. He shouts to everybody. He goes, right, everybody pay attention. Does everybody know Mark? I'm thinking, I don't know if anybody knows me here. This is weird. And then for about 5 minutes, he starts to tell everybody why they should buy the book, and he's holding it aloft and everybody's looking at it. And then he gets me to tell them where they can buy it. So I'm stood there and Michael Rooker's got his arm around me, and I'm thinking, okay, don't mess this up because Michael Rooker's here, but you've got to sell the book as well. So in like 90 seconds, I told everybody, and then he goes, right, let's have a photo. So he's got a photo on his phone of him holding the book, which I'm waiting for him to put on his Instagram. And I keep sort of messaging his management to say, do you think he's going to put it on soon at some point? And then he sits back down and he says, oh, would you sign it for me? I'm thinking, hang on, I came here for your signature. You want mine? And he goes, oh, yeah. Oh, also, make sure you dedicate it to me as well.
Nice.
This is completely bizarre. So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, cool. Be cool. Be cool. You know, I'm still a fan at the end of the day. Be cool. I walk away and then I just go,
Did I just dream that?
Yes. So very, very bizarre incident, but you know, that type of thing doesn't happen often, but when it does, you kind of feel like, wow, that really happened and I had loads of fun. I really hope somebody got a photo. Fortunately, my other half was there and got some photos of me high-fiving him. I don't even remember when that happened, but at some point I high-fived him.
It actually doesn't surprise me knowing Michael Rooker. He was, I saw him at ECC with somebody else, and the moderator of that panel, I congratulated her when I saw her the next day, managed to contain him because he was one side of the stage, the other, in the audience, bouncing back and forth, absolutely no hope of keeping it within the time frame whatsoever. So it doesn't surprise me that he was that vivacious and outgoing. That's wonderful. You know, get a video of that. You have to get that picture.
Well, I mean, we've got loads of people saying congratulations.
Thank you.
Everyone going, congrats, Mark, Kitty Gunn, Craig Linders, Andrew English, and then Mark wakes up. I did quite like this one as well from Andrew Dickinson. Did you dedicate it to Mary Poppins?
No, I didn't. But do you know what? There's a funny story about that. I was writing it. I was putting to Michael, and I was thinking, am I spelling Michael right? And then I realized I've actually spelt it. I've completely finished writing it, and I have no idea if that's right. Quickly shut the book and give it to him. So I don't know if it's right or not. I just had a complete brain fart, so I don't know if he's got it spelled right or not.
Fantastic. That's the kind of experience that we like to talk about here on this show. That's brilliant. Well, congratulations on everything with the book, Mark. And yes, great story. I knew I wanted to get that sorted and mentioned it on the show. Brilliant stuff. Right, let's crack on with the main content then. We are going to be talking about exclusives as well. If there's anything that you want us to talk about on today's show, once again, Q&A or on the Twitter, Cup of Tea Englishman, Cup of Tea. Do let us know if there's anything you want us to cover in today's show. So we'll go to Kevin first, and we'll talk about not only the posts that you put up on the Friends of Comic-Con forum, but also what your predictions are for content that we could be seeing at San Diego this year. We're in the golden age of television. It's something we've talked about on length here on the show. But what can we expect to see in the future, especially when you've got stuff like Netflix representing at various festivals, and of course SciFi doing its rebranding. What's on your docket?
A lot is on my docket. The traditional TV season, which runs from, I would say, fall to spring, is pretty much done. You got streaming content, you got online content, you got pretty much the summer content. I think yesterday when Alyssa and I pretty much put together a list of picks for the summer, we actually realized also Game of Thrones and Orphan Black pretty much are premiering after the Emmys cutoff. So they will not have representation this year for consideration for the Emmys, but they will be on the Emmys docket for sure next season or next year. So for me, looking at the list, it's pretty much lengthy, but you have a couple of shows. For me, I look at a little bit more genre, but also some of the drama. We have Broadchurch, Orphan Black, of course. I'm wearing my Orphan Black Clone Club shirt from BBC America. Can't help it. And then I start looking at some of the weird things that are coming across. A little bit more of the like Return to Grindhouse, something a little bit more offbeat with Blood Drive. is actually very interesting when you look at it. It was plugged on your show last week, so I took a look at a trailer and I thought, okay, this is looking very interesting. You throw bodies into cars to generate.
I'm just gonna, is it as violent as was described to us?
Yes. And that's not for kids, but I will say it does look very interesting.
There's a thread on the forum that's called the SDCC Blood Drive 2017, which is actually Robert Heinlein's blood drive. So I kind of got a little confused there, but there you go. That leads right back into the violence of the show.
And it's campy. So think about it from Quentin Tarantino's Grindhouse flicks with Robert Rodriguez, if I remember correctly, Planet Doom and Planet Terror, sorry, and Death Proof. Those two movies are fantastic. I can't stop watching them when they're on TV. Of course, then we got Preacher coming up later in the summer, or sorry, later this month in June. Zoo.
I've been liking the promos for that for the second season. It's looking like it's, whereas the show itself kind of deviated from the comics, not only just in tone but also the story. It seems now that the second season seems to be heading back towards that Garth Ennis and Dylan sort of like comic graphic novel. So I'm really excited to see what Preacher season 2 brings.
This cast is just unreal. It's really good. It's interesting. It's not typical boilerplate type of TV show, a TV series. So I'm looking forward to the second season. And then a couple other little highlights I have here. Of course, Game of Thrones is a given. Midnight Texas, which I think was slightly delayed. It was supposed to come out in the spring this past spring. Now it's delayed to summer, and that should have some presence.
Wasn't that previewed at last year's Comic-Con?
Yes, but you know what? Some things take a while to kind of percolate and then find the right time on the schedule. Right now, I think all the network TV, I would say the networks, pretty much their schedules are jam-packed. They got so much content that they're actually popping it off to other platforms. That's another reason why I think Star Trek is probably on CBS All Access, is because they're going to have a challenge trying to find a particular time slot and then justify the number of episodes. And I think they're up to 16 episodes now is the order. I think initially they're going to go with 13. And then Alyssa, if you want to jump into anything, but of course I would say, I know Alyssa has a couple of shows that she likes, which will be The Last Ship and Turn, but The Defenders coming out in August, I think will be, Netflix will have a lot of glory on there. And then last summer, I think. Just
a quick question to both you and Alyssa. Do you think that Star Trek Discovery will actually have a panel at Comic-Con this year? Because, like you say, it's going to be a streaming show. We're getting it here in the UK on Netflix. We're not too sure if it's going to get a simultaneous when it gets released on CBS All Access, or we're like 3 weeks later down the line, we're just going to get a massive dump of the bloody things just thrown on Netflix. What do you think? Will we actually see some representation? I mean, was that trailer the first salvo of press for that show?
If they do not promote it at San Diego, I'm going to be shocked. The marketing people should be taken out and fired, in my opinion. If they do not have.
I've thought about their whole marketing team to this date. They have not been hyping it. They've clamped down on pictures for the set. They don't do it. They had a gorgeous opportunity last summer on the Star Trek panel, the Trek panel in the middle of the day in Hall H on Saturday. And
I was talking to someone about that. I think I was speaking to Rich Johnson from Bleeding Cool over the weekend, and was just talking about the various panels and the icons that have appeared on stage at Comic-Con, including Adam West, which we talked about. We will be talking about him in a bit. But yeah, the Star Trek panel in the middle of the Hall H programming on the Saturday was turgid. It was it was such hard work. It was a lot of in-jokes. It was a lot of Brian Fuller trying to get one idea which would supposedly drive a 45-minute panel and didn't. I wish we could have seen more. But then again, at that point, we had no information about Star Trek Discovery. At this point, we absolutely will. Because, like I say, we've got the production, it's up and running. And yeah, I'm just wondering where we could possibly be seeing it. Would it be a whole H?
We should see it. But the problem is, and unless their marketing team gets their act together and starts promoting the thing, we won't see it, is my feeling. Kevin?
Here's my opinion. Number one, I think they probably didn't really start shooting anything until maybe March or April, and they had to be secretive because they were shooting in other locations around the world. I think they were shooting in Morocco. So in I would say in the trailer that they promoted during the upfronts, that was pretty much encapsulating that hey, we're not just going to stick here in the studio, or what they call Planet Doom from Star Trek Next Generation, which is one set that made to look like every single planet. They decided to go a little bit more ambitious for the first pilot. I think they dropped a number of millions of dollars, and we'll see what happens. But I don't think they'll make any announcements until maybe the first or second week of July. But I think they will do it because they're trying to promote a whole new streaming platform. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. If they don't, then I think New York Comic-Con will be a little too late. So,
okay. I mean, do we think Ballroom 20, Hall H, is it something that could it fill Hall H, or is it more of a B20 kind of setup? Do you think?
I think either B20 or Indigo. I'm
6
thinking
BCF perhaps.
Yeah, probably. But I think either Indigo or Ballroom 20. They'll try to do that. I'm also trying to figure out what else CBS will try to showcase at San Diego. There really isn't too much, but they could probably take a whole block and just say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. But then also you got Paramount, which will definitely be backing it. So Paramount and Viacom. So I think that they'll do, if they're going to do anything, it'll probably be Indigo.
Fair enough. I think also, I mean, I think there's some crossover. I think some of the cast will be coming over for some other stuff as well. So I think, you know, we'll be seeing some of the cast there. I mean, obviously we've got Jason Isaacs, who may make an appearance, which would be fun. Doug Jones would be cool to have there. Yeah, and Michelle Yeoh. I mean, when was the last time Michelle came? I think that was a couple of years back now.
Don't be surprised if you see a major presence on the floor.
Okay.
I would, if it was up to me, I would have a booth on the floor, right in the media suite spot, and I would do something there. But hey, that's my thinking. I'm not sure, but I'm also hoping that Netflix decides to, but they don't throw much to marketing. I think they might want to start doing that a little bit. So I'm hoping that they have some sort of presence for Stranger Things, because the timing is ripe right now. It doesn't premiere until October. They have Netflix has also Defenders coming August. They can also pair up with the Marvel booth, but I think they can at least have a panel. The Duffy brothers have been going around and doing smaller types of panels. I went to one in New York City last August, and it was actually pretty cool. So, and I would say the cast has been making the rounds around on conventions. So if they don't have anything officially, you may see the cast there too, just hanging out.
Yeah. I mean, we had this chat about Netflix last week in that myself and Alyssa had a little bit of background information last year regarding Netflix's appearance at various conventions, in that while they have the product, all their money that they kind of bring in goes to the product. They don't actually have a massive amount of budgeting for conventions and promotion in that regard, which is why they didn't have a massive presence at San Diego last year. The presence that they did have, you notice, was all the Marvel stuff. So it was Marvel that was effectively footing the bill. Same drill again this time. They have some amazing Marvel product coming, like, say, Defenders. But if they don't have a Stranger Things panel, I'd be incredibly disappointed, because that show has been the biggest hit for them. It's just been incredible.
And they are pushing right now, because I received the free your consideration packet, included my Hollywood Reporter, and they are pushing for Emmy nominations. So it only helps themselves, literally. It only helps themselves, and I think they'll probably have a good presence there at the Emmys this year.
Yeah, we've got a couple of comments coming in on the Q&A. Andrew English and I agree with this one entirely. At the moment, he doesn't have too much hope for Star Trek Discovery. It looks like every other Stargate planet looking like bits of Canada, which I get, which I totally understand. I totally get. But I did like the line as well, looking more forward towards the Orville, which is McFarlane's series, which, yeah, I'm up for that. If anything, because I'm a massive Galaxy Quest fan, and it looks like something like from Galaxy Quest, so I think I'm up for that. Angela Copley at the Limitless panel last year, or a couple of years ago, CBS gave out 1 month or 3 month passes for CBS Access promo cards. Hope they do something like that again. Yeah, I think all Star Trek fans would love a 3 month pass to CBS All Access. Just get Star Trek Discovery for free. Fantastic. People more or less discussing now about they could be seeing needing a Westworld panel. Do you think we could be having something for Westworld appearing at Comic-Con?
Definitely. That's WB. They pretty much they'll have that, definitely. The other thing that has not really had much of a presence last year was Legion. They had no panel whatsoever. They did I would say a side mention during another panel. So
well, I'd even say that show generally just came out of the blue.
Yeah, and it's really good. And production is supposed to be shifting to California, so the cast should be pretty much nearby during time of con, if that is, I would say, the current schedule. So they should have a panel, in my opinion. That also, I would say, be a ballroom 20 or 6 BCF type of room, but it's definitely something I would look forward to.
Yeah. What do we see from the other stations then? SciFi have been the one that have really, they've said that they're going to do their best to move towards genre television, obviously with a lot of adaptations of sci-fi classics. Could we see a panel for sci-fi generally, or would it be show by show, do you think?
Okay, this is a bet. I'm going on a limb here. They just literally announced last month a total rebrand. So this is their time to actually start showing something to actual, I would say, the consumers. The ad folks that they did for the upfronts, they did make they did bring Zach Levi to New York to promote the his, I would say, live at Comic-Con show. And then you just can't have that. You have to have something else to bring with it. So I think they may do a little bit more of a push. They may tie in with NBC and NBC Universal to push a couple of their other series as well. Of course, tying in with Midnight Texas, they might do a double airing where it'll air on NBC first and then also on SciFi Channel afterwards as a either simulcast or encore. Then you have a couple of the series that SciFi is pushing. Of course, Sharknado, that's a given. So this is a perfect opportunity. They used to do some stuff. They didn't really do anything officially within the convention center, I think, the last couple of years. And it was set up at one of the restaurants down the street in the gas lamp area. This is now time for them to, if they were smart, for a little bit of money, get a panel together and do, I would say, a block. And they could do it in one of the smaller rooms and start selling that. But also, if they want to start connecting the live at Comic-Con, and they want to try to go back to I would say, the glory days of G4, they have to do something a little bit more, I would say, engaging.
Yeah, Corgi Commander is saying that they took over the Hard Rock restaurant for the Hard Rock, for the Sci-Fi Cafe. That they did. Yeah, I remember that reasonably well because I've popped in on a couple of occasions. Yeah, I think I'm curious to see, like you say, I mean, obviously they're going to be having a presence with the live from Comic-Con, but I think that is going to be geared more towards Zach Levi's influence. So you're going to, that's going to be more like your Nerd HQ kind of affair. When it comes to the actual sci-fi product, I personally think we're going to get one panel, just an overview of the stuff that's coming up, because they want to kind of push sci-fi as a brand. I think they could push individual shows fine, but at the end of the day, they want to make sure that people see the logo. They want to know that as a channel, they're making the effort to
exactly
as a solid unit, even though the new logo is absolutely terrible. Oh, it looks awful. I'll see if I can dig it out of my files. It's just, oh, it's terrible. But anyway, okay. Is there anything else that you can suspect may be seeing product at Comic-Con? I know a lot of people are jumping in, and I've kind of held off by saying so far, purely because I know the reaction it's going to get out of you two.
Okay, go ahead and say it. What?
The Expanse.
Okay. I'm going to go on. Okay, Melissa, you talk about Expanse.
Oh, I think we will. I think we will. You know, they don't seem to hesitate to, you know, there's no hesitation on missing an opportunity to put the show out there. And they've got a great cast, very personable cast, all very very good at managing a crowd of people. So I think we will see something. 6BCF would be my guess.
And they could do a block. It's very simple. They can have Expanse and magicians tied in together. They have a presence over at New York Comic-Con. If they should have the same presence in San Diego. This is
Killjoys, Dark Matter, you know, and that's, I mean, Killjoys and Dark Matter and the Expanse, it's all, you know, it's space-based sci-fi, which is where I hope they're going more towards. CBS is also doing Salvation, just to kind of switch gears here. Salvation.
Oh my God! Please tell me they're not doing a Terminator Salvation series. Please,
no, God, no. God, no. I still haven't seen the last movie.
No.
You know what? No, the last one was okay. It was all right.
Yeah, no. This isn't. This isn't tied into the Terminator series at all. It's basic asteroid hits the Earth. Only a few people know about it. Kind of thing. I'm just hoping that they've got a little bit more behind it. The ideas are not so pat, and it becomes a disaster of the week kind of a series. We'll see. That's airing there. We've got the trailers up in that article we did. The other thing that I wanted to ask you and Mark about was, have you guys seen something called Hooten and the Lady? Kind of, it's an Indiana Jones series. Apparently it came out in the UK.
It's not Indiana Jones. It's Romancing the Stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
got heavily pushed over here, heavily promoted, billboards, adverts left, right, and center. It got about 3 episodes in, and then nobody talked about it at all. It kind of just vanished off the face of the earth. Mark, did you? I mean, I watched the first episode. Did you see any of it?
I saw the first episode as well. It didn't really appeal to me that much, but when you're putting Jessica Hines into a TV show, hey, I'm there. I like her. I think she's very funny. And I just did not return. Oh dear, it was really poor, really poor.
I will take I always like Mark's advice, so I will.
Oh, okay. Don't listen to me. No, it's fine.
No, we don't care. We don't care about you. You know what? Going to the TV thing, the one panel I would really like to see, and I know they haven't started shooting yet. They've only started announcing casting. I would really like to see a Snowpiercer panel, because I'm so hyped for this TV show. I really am.
Well, I know that you're a massive fan of the original film as well, so
yeah.
Here's the other wild card panel that I've been kind of debating about whether they're going to have a presence is on Spike TV, which may be different for you in the UK, is The Mist, which is Stephen King's, I would say, television adaptation of the movie. I'm looking forward to this. I think this, just like the Dome, it caught on like a fever. So if they do the right thing, they should have a panel there too.
There's a couple of other shows that are kind of airing this summer that are into their 2nd and 3rd season, so we don't really concentrate on them. Power on Stars is in season 4, and also Clever Man on Sundance, which I particularly like. It's an Australian-based show, which basically has the idea of 2 different genetic populations coexisting, and what how that is. Those are the two other shows that are coming along, which people maybe just to put it on people's radar. And of course, we've got The Strain coming back for their 4th and final season, happening in later on in July.
I mean, you saying about that, Alyssa, the strain, that there'll definitely be a panel there. You know, Del Toro loves Comic-Con. I think there'll definitely be a panel. We should take bets on how many times he will swear on that panel, because he does the man does like to swear, and every time he reads it and he goes, "Oh yeah, sorry, I'll try not to swear," and then the next word is a swear word. So yeah, I definitely
That's
think
why we love him.
Yeah, exactly. I think there'll definitely be a panel for that. Absolutely.
At his Troll Hunters panel, I don't think he dropped a swear word at all.
Wow. Wow.
The one other show that I'm looking forward to this summer is on Amazon, The Tick. I watched, they have the preview, the first episode, as Amazon does, on the on live airing, so you could watch it if you're a Prime member, and it looks like it could be really fun, rather campy. But I'm wondering, have we ever seen an Amazon panel at
Yes. Yeah, Hand of God.
Yeah.
Hand of God was there.
So we might.
That's something else. Well, someone else is also talking about a couple of other Amazon shows as well, and they're bringing out some incredible products. Well, obviously, the other big Amazon show is Man in the High Castle.
Exactly.
So they've definitely represented, and they've definitely brought stuff to Comic-Con in a big way. A couple of shows. I mean, there's one. I mean, The Tick, by the way. Yeah, I'm going to second Alyssa on this one. I've actually seen a couple of episodes of this, and because they have got it on Amazon Prime here in the UK. If anything, because I'm such a huge fan of Peter Serafinowicz, who plays the lead actor. I'm such a huge fan of his. So, but he does it really well. He absolutely runs with the whole campiness of the whole thing. A show that Michael P is mentioning. He's saying that it's on Hulu, but it's actually an Amazon's show originally. And beyond Michael P mentioning this on the Q&A, I've never even heard of this bloody thing. What is Oasis? This is a television drama series, apparently produced and shot in the UK, directed by Kevin MacDonald, starring Richard Madden and Haley Joel Osment and Mark Addy, based on the 2014 novel The Book of Strange New Things, following the adventures of a Scottish chaplain on an exoplanet colony, and is part of the pilot season for Amazon Video. I've never even heard of this bloody thing.
Sounds wonderful.
Either, but it does sound interesting.
Yeah. Cool.
What? This is. I'm sorry. I'm blindsided by this. I mean, well, hopefully that gets represented, because that sounds interesting. If anything, because we don't do much in the way of anything that doesn't involve a corset here in the UK, frankly. Which is why I'm stunned that Handmaid's Tale wasn't made in the UK, because that seems right up our street. But Graham Small, I watched the pilot of Oasis. You're gonna have to let us know about that. But yeah, let us know. What was that, Alyssa?
Nothing. I think we best just move right along.
Well, let's move on. Let's move on to Handmaid's Tale, because that's also been mentioned. Kimberly Dickinson is saying, can we please have a panel for that? That was represented, I know, at a couple of cons, but is that a San Diego show, do you think? I mean, I know they did that kind of walking through San Diego with the women in the outfits doing kind of like the nuns being shepherded through gas lamp. But did they have a panel for Handmaid's Tale at that point?
I don't recall.
Yeah. Has Hulu ever brought a panel?
It's an interesting question.
Well, based on the reaction for Handmaid's Tale, heck, if they bring it and they bring Elizabeth Moss, I think a lot of folks will be attending it.
Even if they had a panel on the Bill Finger story documentary that they did, like they did at New York Comic-Con, that would be wonderful. I think they should. They should represent better.
Yeah, Transmute June we had access to one of the screeners, and Transmute June watched several episodes, and she told me about how good Handmaid's Tale was, and she wrote the article about it as a preview, and it picked up as soon as she published our article, or at least wrote the article internally. We started reviewing it. All of a sudden, I just started seeing a whole bunch of other articles pop up from major sites about how good this series is. So if it's on, hey, definitely.
Well, according looking just at the Q&A, the response, because it was Kimberly Dickinson who brought up the show, and everyone was just going, yeah, let's just have some of that, please, because it created such an emotional response in the audience. So yeah, we're up for that. Sarita P is asked a question, and I didn't even know that this was kind of up in the air. They had a trailer for Krypton, and then it disappeared. Does anyone know if that show is still happening, and if so, when? Alyssa's giggling like a good one. I mean, what's the story?
I've heard that somebody was commenting on that. I'm really looking forward to it. I have no idea. I assumed that it was going to be something next year, and Kevin and I have been really focused on this summer, and we'll wait till next fall to happen. So I don't know is the short answer for that.
I'm going to take a quick peek at the research I did from the upfronts, but I remembered that it was supposed to be on the list, and it was, of course, the SciFi channel. So this is another opportunity for SciFi to bring in some content and showcase Krypton, because they're trying to do the same thing. I think they tried saying, "Hey, Gotham worked. Let's try this."
They definitely need a Gotham, don't they?
In my opinion, Gotham's fantastic. I don't know about you, but I enjoy it thoroughly.
We've got a question that's come in, which is actually rather interesting. This is from Jason Coe, Corgi Commander. What is everyone's most memorable gas lamp promo stunt for a show that didn't make it? I'm trying to remember that show that was plastered all over the Hard Rock, which was basically people being the human race effectively being all the good people were taken away and left the bad ones as purgatory on Earth. I think I got that right. Incorporated was another one as well. The reason why I like this question is because I'm absolutely convinced if a show is plastered over the Hard Rock or anywhere down in Gaslamp, it dies on its fecking backside. I am certainly talking about the films. I'm talking about Ghost Rider Spirit Vengeance. I'm talking about Pixels. Pixels, for the love of God. That bloody film.
Listen, The Equalizer was plastered on Hard Rock, and that was not a bad movie at all. That was Denzel.
No, it wasn't. Well, then again, I'm still determined to think that The Equalizer
in that movie.
I still think The Equalizer should be in the same universe as John Wick. I think John Wick should have been trained by The Equalizer. I think it should be. I'm waiting for the mashup film. Kitty Gunn. Well, it wasn't a show, but Assassin's Creed pirate ship promo. Didn't that video game tank? I'm possibly.
And we did too.
Yeah. What happened to Minority Report, the TV series, which was all over the Hilton Bayfront?
Oh, yes. That's the classic. That is a classic.
Yeah. Most shows with that off-site outside of Tin Fish Dies, Dracula, Oz, Ascension.
Ascension was a limited run anyway. It was only 3 episodes, if I remember right. That was SciFi.
So there we go. It's just, awful stuff. Basically, if the first thing I do is when I show up in San Diego, I look up at the Hard Rock and I see which film is going to fail this year. So there we go. Heroes Reborn.
Yeah.
That wasn't a great revival at all. So
I
there we
tried
go.
3 times. It just never took off. Within 15 minutes, I started falling asleep.
Fair enough. Okay, so any other shows that we've kind of missed? Is there anything else that certainly that's appearing in your post on the forum that we could be seeing at Comic-Con?
Melissa?
I don't think we mentioned Winona Earp.
Well, that's doing well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we'll probably see a show for that. I would assume.
Sarita P has also brought up a show which I'm stunned that even made a second season, Scream Queens.
There's that. It'd be interesting to see a blood drive panel on SciFi. We may have talked about that already, though. Of Fear of the Walking Dead, I know we'll obviously get a Walking Dead, but maybe we'll actually get a Fear panel too.
Did they have a Fear panel last year?
I'm
Yes,
not
they
sure.
did.
I don't remember. Okay,
Yes, they
Fear did.
They had a whole boat set up in the back as an offsite.
And
Graham
what's-
Small says, I think Vikings have confirmed they are returning to Comic-Con this
Oh,
year.
yes, of
Yes,
course.
they did.
Yep.
So
But-
pretty much any panel before that is pretty much
yeah.
pretty much considered a shot out. You can't get into it.
Yeah, that's a very good question from Corgi Commander. American Horror Story, has it ever had a panel? I don't remember.
Yes.
Has it?
Yes, it has. And I could be wrong, but I remember that they did show up to San Diego.
Fair enough.
Kathy Bates was there, if I remember correctly, too.
Okay. Right, well, we'll move on because it sounds like we've got most of the shows that people are talking about and talking about whether they're going to be appearing at Comic-Con. As always, everyone with the Q&A, jump in. If there's anything else that you would like us to talk about in possibility that we could be seeing. Andrew Dickinson is saying that American Horror Story did appear at Geek and Sundry. That's the other thing as well. They do appear at the other kind of off-sites, and in the past they would have appeared at Nerd HQ. So it's just where we could be seeing. Another show that we haven't discussed as well is Dirk Gently. If there's a possibility of a second season of that. Mark is smirking slightly there because I think he's got the same opinion of that show as I do.
And that man.
And that man.
That man.
Yes.
Yes.
That man.
Yes.
I watched Dirk Gently. I enjoyed Dirk Gently. I just tried to ignore the words that was coming out of people's mouths because
Yeah.
that guy. Anyway, we'll move on. Right.
Movies?
Movies. Yeah, this is where we now switch over to the big screen and go over to Mark Searby, especially off the back of not only the response to Wonder Woman, which we kind of touched on last week. So certainly the panel that we could be seeing, or should be seeing, or will be seeing on the Saturday morning for WB, which is kind of like their little home and wheelhouse now. So off the response of Wonder Woman, but also off the response of The Mummy that came out this week. At the end of the day, I'll just ask the question outright then. I kind of said this a couple of weeks back, and I said that we will be seeing a Dark Universe panel in Hall H. Is that now a slightly riskier proposition?
No, sure. It's something they need to do more than ever now. They need to ramp up this promotion more than ever and say, look, that was just the entry point. You know, it's kind of like the new version of the DC universe of saying, look, Man of Steel, yes, we know it was long and it was boring and whatever else, but that was the entry point. Now look what you get. You get Wonder Woman. Yes, okay, you had to go through all of that. So while The Mummy is, well, all wrapped up in bandages because it is that shredded, I just think that they need to be there. They absolutely need to be there. They need to promote this more. And the thing is, they've got some good actors in there. You know, Sophia Boutella, she's a wonderful actress. And Russell Crowe, yeah, fantastic. So that's great. And Tom Cruise.
Well, even in the Dark Universe generally, because we've seen that cast picture.
Yeah.
With Johnny Depp in there, with Javier Bardem in there. And I believe, hasn't Angelina Jolie been announced?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But then you see you've got Johnny Depp, Javier Bardem. So all of a sudden you're putting in Sophia Boutella, you're putting in Tom Cruise. It's now slowly starting to turn into Pirates of the Caribbean 6, isn't it? Because these are about the same people. In all honesty, yes, I think Dark Universe need to turn up. They need to promote the heck out of it because people are not turning up to this second film. No way. It's not as though people have even turned around and said, yeah, you know, well, we probably enjoyed it. It was okay. No. I mean, this has been slated. You know, this is almost as bad.
Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it purely based on the fact, and this is how you know when a film is bad. In the UK, they show it the night before it gets released in cinemas. So they showed it to the press Thursday night. It came out Friday. So, and also that it was in a cinema with 200 seats. That's when you know they're afraid of it, and they're afraid of what's going to happen. So no, I haven't seen it, and time's moved on now. I'm afraid it's other things have come about. Yeah, I think Dark Universe would be good. Hopefully we won't get Russell Crowe doing his English accent. For anybody who's seen that clip, yikes, that's a horrible clip.
I'm curious to see exactly how that's going. That's an interesting piece of information from Corgi. We'll get to that in a second. Sarita P. So the Mummy tanked. Universal go further with the monster movies planned. I did quite like the viral video that came out last week, which was basically he talked about the meeting, saying, right, have you seen all the money that Warner Brothers are making with the expanded DC universe? Have you seen the money that Marvel are making? Universal, come on, guys. What have we got? Well, we've got all the monsters. Yeah, all right, let's do that. Let's do it. All right. If that's what we've got, then we'll do that. Super Catchick. The reason why I asked if you'd actually seen it, Mark, is saying I'm super curious if the Mummy is actually bad or if it's more no one is going to see it. Good things from a couple of friends who has seen it. Although Dan Berry is reminding us 32 million for the entire weekend. Ouch. I did quite like this interesting fact, though. Corgi Commander. Funko cancelled the Tom Cruise Mummy Pop, and they're now selling on eBay for $200.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay. Fair enough. Kitty Gun, it's frustrating. I love the original Universal Monsters. I'm not big fan of remakes. I'm going to give them a chance, but I don't give them high hopes. Andrew English is going to go see it tomorrow. I'd love to go see it. I am actually intrigued because I am the same drill. I'm a Universal Monster fan. I like the werewolf, the Invisible Man, the whole works. I'm up for it, except I'm skinned. So at this point, I'm just going to have to possibly hold off for a little while until a little bit of money comes in. But there we go. There was someone as well that was who follows me on Twitter who the one thing that she didn't like is that Tom Cruise, or certainly his character, is the most irredeemable character she has ever seen. She just he's not likable at all, which is unusual for the perma grin that is Tom Cruise. Okay, so what else do you expect to see? Certainly when it comes to Hall H, is there any kind of dark horses that you can imagine? Just
do you know? Well, taking away Marvel, Warner's, and Star Wars, let's take those out of the equation. And I've said this before: there's always a panel for Open Road / A24, this production company, and they always bring somebody new. They brought The Rock for Hercules. They brought Bill Murray for Rock the Casbah. So they always throw these weird panels in there for films where people go, wait, why is this even here? And yet they bring everybody. So that's something to keep an eye on. I definitely think there's going to be a panel for Valerian. I would even hedge my bets that there's going to be a lot of screenings for it because it's out 2 weeks later. And
I was wondering about the timing.
Yeah, I think that will be everywhere. Also, one thing that a lot of people don't notice is that we get a lot of horror panels, horror-themed panels. So I'm thinking that the new version of It might be there because that would be perfect. I think that would be a perfect fit. I think that will be there.
You'll see my missus jumping in a lift or in an Uber at some point, just as the introduction starts for that, and heading up the highway. There's no way in hell she'll be in the room for that panel.
Well, more room for us who like Pennywise then. Yeah,
I think It, and also The Nun, which is a spin-off of the I forgot the name of the movie right now. The Possession movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
The Conjuring. Yeah. I think we'll see that. I also think we'll probably see Kingsman 2. It wouldn't surprise me.
That would be cool.
I know for a fact that there is already a rough cut circulating. So, it's only a case of them knocking that down. And they came with the first film. They seem to have a very good time. I think they'll be there for the second. I'm not sure what else, because looking at the listing, there is a lot of drama films. later on this year. So, you know, there's something like Wind River, which I'm hugely excited for, but it's got nowhere to fit into Comic-Con apart from the fact that Jeremy Renner's in it. That's kind of it. So I don't see that happening. You know, something like Jumanji, that could play. That could play there.
Well, I was going to ask you about Rampage.
If they don't market
as
it,
well.
I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah.
They need to market it there.
Yeah.
I was also going to ask about Rampage.
Yeah, possibly, because obviously they're filming now. There's no reason why Johnson can't jump on a plane and come out. He's done it before. You know, he's been there before.
I think that's because he's got a lot of stuff that he could bring.
He has.
Like you say, Rampage. He could also Jumanji 2. His 2020 presidential campaign.
His him and the Staths spin-off of Fast and the Furious. You know, I mean, that's another thing he can bring.
It's called G.I. Joe.
It's not.
Valerian opens on
That's
the.
going to happen. When are Fast and the Furious movies going to dovetail into G.I. Joe? This it makes sense to me.
By the way, Valerian opens on July 21st, so yeah. I think UK might be. I'm a little surprised that UK will be delayed, but that's perfect for if they don't do some sort of premiere event at San Diego. Yeah, that'll be a little shocking. They might do something in LA, but they should definitely have some presence.
You were talking about the drama stuff and whether it actually has a home at Comic-Con. At the end of the day, we did have Oliver Stone last year bringing Snowden. A film that I'm curious to see whether it would be represented would be The Beguiled. Because that has been getting a lot of festival buzz. You don't think that's going to make an appearance?
No, it's released that weekend of there, and I just don't think. I think it's too niche for Comic-Con. I really do. I mean, you said it's got loads of buzz. I don't doubt it. You know, it looks incredible. I'm really excited to see it, but I just think it's too niche. One thing that I think will be there, and nobody will show up to watch it: the Emoji Movie.
No, it's okay. People will know about it. It's going to be plastered over the side of the Hard Rock.
Patrick Stewart's supposed to be the one of the emojis in that, right?
Yeah. The other thing I think will turn up, Dark Tower. I'd be very surprised if that doesn't. Very surprised.
They need to start ramping up for that because
Blade Runner should definitely be there as well.
Well, a couple of comments are coming in on the Q&A, including a film which I'm going to put to Mark in a second. Yeah, Blade Runner 2049 is getting being asked about. Andrew Dickinson saying the Emoji Movie looks okay, actually. Okay, all right. Well, let me have a look at the trailer. I've kind of even ignored it, quite frankly. Now there's two. Atomic Blonde.
Yeah,
I would hope that film comes.
Yeah.
Because I am so up for that film.
I tell you why I think that will come is because they've already started screening it. It was already played at South by Southwest and got a really good reaction. I think we'll see that getting played quite a lot around the country before it's released because it is building that buzz. I think it may even be just 30 minutes or something like that, but I'd be very surprised if that's not there.
Okay.
I'll throw a couple more in there. Tomb Raider, which comes out in March. Pacific Rim, which I like the original. They should, and then also Maze Runner, because that also had a delay.
Yeah,
I didn't even know they were making another one of those.
Which one, Maze Runner? They had to stop production because the star got into a bad car accident during filming during a stunt. But they were releasing on a yearly schedule, and then they had to take a break off for this past year.
Right. The other film that I wanted to throw at Mark, and I'm curious to see, number one, his response, and number two, whether it's something that we could see at Comic-Con. Orient Express.
Oh, yeah, possibly, because
the cast alone would just rock the room.
Yeah, and also they promoted it heavily here in the UK last week. There was some sort of like launch event for it where all the cast were there, and they seem to be taking it wider, further afield than you would expect them to be. You know, I think they're trying to hit anybody who has got a vague interest in it. Yeah, if they turn up, that would be a heck of a room to be in.
It'd be good to have Kenneth Branagh back, because I think the last time we had him was for the first Thor movie. So it'd be good to have him back in the room. That would be cool. We've got a couple of people jumping in on the Q&A. It was Kitty Gunn that brought up Orient Express, and yeah, off that first bunch of that first trailer, it intrigued me. Craig Linders agrees. Orient does look interesting. A bunch of people are actually jumping on Andrew Dickinson for his Emoji movie. Let's hold off. Let me watch the trailer as well. You never know, it might be funny. And like you say, Patrick Stewart's in there, so it should be good.
There is a certain, sorry, Leonard, there is a certain emoji to use once you've seen that trailer. I don't know
is that emoji the one that Patrick Stewart is voicing?
Well, I don't know what everybody's laughing about. I was saying the smiley emoji. What is it?
Oh, right, so it's not the one he's not voicing that one. Okay. Corgi Commander, it might be the next Trolls. Oh, that's fair. I mean, hey, listen, that got a lot of buzz once that film actually came out.
Yeah.
Awesome Socks, new name to the Q&A. Hello, welcome along. Judge Dredd. Now, saying that is all I'm looking forward to Marvel-wise. Just to say, Judge Dredd is not a Marvel product, and it's also going to be coming out as a TV series. It's a Rebellion thing, which I was actually going to bring up with Kevin and Alyssa, but that's all down to Rebellion. I think we may be getting the T-shirts this year and the panel next year. I think we're just too early in the production for anything Judge Dredd, but it'd be nice to see some concept art. That would be cool. Kitty Gunn, this is regarding the fact that Patrick Stewart is doing the voice of the poop emoji. Are people going to start doing, I'm going to take a Patrick Stewart after the film? Fair enough. So there we go. So any other films, certainly surprises that could be on the horizon?
I don't know. This is the problem, because they always throw something, throw a curveball. Yes, they've almost confirmed Wonder Woman 2. I suspect they're holding off to confirm it at that panel. It wouldn't surprise me. The other thing I'd quite like, and this is just going on, you know, summer fans that are throwing it out there, is for Disney to actually announce that Edgar Wright is going to do a Star Wars film.
That'd be nice.
It would be great. Yeah, that's absolutely
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
But that if we got that, we'd get that at D23.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, that was a question. When's Baby Driver out?
A couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. So it'll be been and gone by the time.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to that film.
There's also
actually,
one more movie that Transmute June and I were talking about, Ready Player One, which is Steven Spielberg's movie.
Of course, which got its big coming out at Comic-Con last year.
Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, I'd be curious.
That's not touching the screen till March 30th, but it could do some promo work around that.
Fair enough. Another film that has just cropped up in the Q&A, and if anyone's going to know anything about this film, it's going to be Mark, Captain Christopher Nolan fan there. Dunkirk.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That was Mark's face.
Yeah, yeah. It comes out that weekend. I can't imagine there will be a panel. I don't think it fits in to the niche that is Comic-Con. It would be great if there is, but I just don't see it. I think all the marketing will have been done by then. However, the good news is I'm actually seeing it before I go out to America. I'm seeing it a whole week beforehand because I've got a ticket to the BFI with intro by Christopher Nolan. I mean,
wow, that's cool.
Okay. He's going to be a hot, sweaty mess by the time he gets on the plane. Okay, fair enough. Kitty Gunn, I heard they have already announced Wonder Woman 2. Yes, they have. That's already been kind of like nailed down. And not only that, a number of the cast already had deals to do Wonder Woman 2. The only person that didn't actually have a confirmed contract for it was Patty Jenkins. Yeah, that's because Warner Brothers just went, what? a bird managing to do a successful film. What are the odds? Because that's the way that Hollywood thinks. Because they're stupid. But if they don't get her back for the sequel, they're going to make a huge mistake, because she absolutely stuck the landing with Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Everyone's just saying Ready Player One, read the book as well. Absolutely. So yeah, cool. I think that's pretty much all of the films that I can certainly think of that's on the upcoming horizon. Wasn't there? I'm certain there was a couple. Actually, tell you what, if there's anything else anyone wants to quickly talk about, sorry, let me just go on.
I'm going to make a bold prediction, but this is for Comic-Con for 2018. Mission Impossible premiere event at San Diego. I'm dropping the mic now.
It's a good choice. It's a good choice. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's going to happen. I called it before with Star Trek, because I looked at the release schedule and it looked exactly like it's primed up. This is Paramount, this is Viacom, and they already have the established relationship. I think it's going to happen. And Tom Cruise needs a home run with the domestic fans.
And also, it's perfect for him to abseil down the convention building, or so, you know, something like that. It would be perfect for him.
Him and Henry Cavill too.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's a good shout. That's actually a really good shout. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Andrew Dickinson's turning around and mentioning about War of the Planet of the Apes. That does come out the weekend before. So yeah, it's unlikely we'll get a panel for that, which is a shame, because then again, I will be in the line for that film, because I'm a huge fan of this new take on the Planet of the Apes series. Absolutely stunning. Possibly suggesting Deadpool 2, or we'll have a panel for that. That would be part of the Marvel. That would be part of the Marvel setup. We haven't talked about the Black Panther trailer, not yet. We're getting there. And there was the other one as well. That's what I want to mention, because I'm a big Doug Liman fan. Edge of Tomorrow 2, with its bloody awful title, which I would really, live, die, repeat, and repeat. Terrible title. But could we see Tom Cruise? But then again, he'll, like you say, he could be in town to do the Dark Universal. So it's all about. I think it's all about seeing the mass of properties that people have, which we could confirm if they're going to be in town or not. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed for that, Mark. Obviously, we'll be finding out about panels 2 weeks before Comic-Con this year, as always. So we were looking at the 9th, or the weekend of the 6th to the 9th, when we actually get the panel announcements. Of course, we will be doing a panel breakdown when we get those released. So that's cool. Sarita P, Mission Impossible 5 or 6, she's lost count. So it is possible. It's possible for all of that. And Corgi Commander, we are all missing the big one, Sharknado 5.
I talked about it before. I said it before.
We did bring that up already.
Yeah,
every year it's a cult favorite.
Sorry, what was that? It's a what favorite? Okay, maybe I just misheard. I don't know. Okay, right. So let's move on very quickly, because I want to talk very quickly about the exclusives that were announced this week. But we'll talk very quickly about the Black Panther trailer and our thoughts on it. We'll go to Kevin first. Kevin, what's your thoughts?
Enjoyed it. Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Very simple.
Alyssa's shaking her head, which is baffling me.
No, that was more of a can we skip me? Please,
right. Okay. Have you not seen the trailer yet?
I'm bad. I'm a bad geek. Moving on. Mark?
No worries. Mark?
I haven't seen it. I've said this before. I try not to watch trailers because there's so many spoilers in everything. So I haven't seen it. I like to go into a film fresh, so I haven't seen it.
Fair enough. Okay, so just between myself and Kevin, then Kevin says he liked it. I was thoroughly impressed. It's got some real attitude to it. What I also like, considering that we have already seen an on-set photo of the cast seats for T'Challa, for the Black Panther, and also Captain Rogers, Captain Steve Rogers, and also Natasha Romanoff. So yes, we are going to be having representatives from Captain America and Black Widow. What I really like is that in the trailer we don't see anybody else other than Black Panther. I'm looking at you, Spider-Man Homecoming, with all of your Iron Man pushing, you bastards. God almighty, could you lay off, please? Which leads me, in a nice little segue, to Funko with their exclusives, because we've got a number of exclusives that were announced this week. But let me bring up my folder for the Funko stuff, because there was quite a few. It looks like we're going to be getting this on a regular basis on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That seems to be the kind of general consensus. What's been the chat so far on the forum? Has it been positive for the Funko exclusives?
Oh, it's always positive, and you know, Funko Fun Days and Funko everything, and the exclusive people are starting to get hints and tidbits, and are planning how much money they want to spend, and how much money they can afford to spend, and there is a push to see if we can get an online lotteries versus ticket pulls in the sales pavilion. CCI doesn't seem to like those types of things. There's definite pluses and minuses on both sides of the argument, but I think this is something that's will continue to be talked about.
What's been the response so far on the fact that they're theming all of their releases this time around? Because this was brought up by the missus when I spoke to her earlier. She felt that if, say, somebody wasn't too keen on Marvel, then they just wouldn't look at the releases, or if they weren't too keen on any particular brand. If you weren't keen on Edgar Wright's the
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim, thank you. Complete mind fart there for a second. Then you would not take a chance to have a look at these Funkos, but they are particularly tasty. So yeah, I've found the window for all my exclusives. So tell you what, if I bring this up, so at least then we can show people on screen.
That a lot of the Funko collectors tend to, yes, they like their particular niche. I would love a Daredevil Funko, for example, but they also enjoy the take on all of the different ones. So I don't think putting it out for the Marvel fans will mean that other Funko people will still watch them and still take part.
Take part of it. Okay, so let's go to these, and just to show you what we've got. So the first wave released on Monday was our Star Wars. This is the one that got a lot of people riled up, purely because we haven't had a Bodhi Rook Pop Funko, and we're talking like 8 months after the films come out, and we've been particularly peeved at the fact that it's taken now to finally get a Bodhi Rook. But no, I do quite like the sculpt on this. I do quite like the Combat Assault Tank Trooper as well. This one is the one that's gotten a lot of people interested, which is the supersized Supreme Leader Snoke. Say that several times while drunk, which is rather tasty. Glow in the dark as well. Only confirmed as a response to somebody else. Yes, the Princess Leia in the R2-D2 and Princess Leia 2-pack is going to be a glow in the dark as well. So that's the Star Wars ones, and I believe I've got them all in a separate folder. Of course I have. So let's go to Wave 2, which came out on Wednesday. Like I say, all of these were themed and came out in one block. So we have ourselves the Scott Pilgrim ones. I quite like these. If anything, I was also quite taken by the fact that people were turning around and saying on chat that they hadn't actually seen the film, so they had no idea what Scott Pilgrim was.
What?
I know. Tell me about it.
I'm surprised.
Great film. Great film. If you've not seen Scott Pilgrim, check it out. It's just an awesome flick. Scott Pilgrim with the Sword of Destiny. We have Nega Scott, which is the one that... Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I think that's brilliant. Roxy Richter is very, very cool as well as one of the evil X's. The Scott Pilgrim 3-pack, which in a set of daubs. Okay, fine, whatever. And we have ourselves Rock Candy, which, to be honest, I don't particularly like the Rock Candy figures, but I really like this Ramona Flowers. I think that's just really, really cute. So there's those to finish up on Wave 2. And then Wave 3 is the one that got everyone excited because, of course, we are talking Marvel. So if I just pop that open and go to this, yes, we have ourselves Gwenpool with a selfie stick. Obviously, Marvel doing their best to really make sure that people know that Gwenpool exists as a character, because we've got a fair few. We've got ourselves a Rock Candy character as well. This is the one for me. This is the highlight so far. I adore this, which is the red She-Hulk. Still no clue yet on convention quantities yet or how much she's going to go for, but I absolutely adore that Funko. I think it's gorgeous. Captain America, which is Bucky Cap. I did actually have someone mention that he was disappointed that the blacks weren't chrome like the comics. So it really would stand out as a Bucky Cap. And then the one that ran me up, which is this bloody thing, which is Tony Stark with a Iron Man helmet on a Spider-Man Homecoming thing. When everyone is criticizing Spider-Man Homecoming for pimping the fact that it's got Tony Stark in there, that's the pop they chose to be the exclusive at Comic-Con. Jesus. What the hell? It's a Spider-Man movie, for the love of God. Anyway, so there we go. That's Pop Funko. Like I say, we've very little in terms of quantities apart from a number of the Scott Pilgrim ones, but certainly on Marvel, we don't have numbers of quantities or prices yet, but we'll get those no doubt as we get closer. And of course, we'll be paying attention to social media tomorrow as we have ourselves Wave 4 hit the streets. So there we go.
Plus, a lot of those may also be convention exclusives and or shared with other organizations like Hot Topic, Walgreens.
As far as I'm aware, the only one that's confirmed as a shared is the Bodhi Rook. I believe that's a shared exclusive. I think that's the only one. Corgi Commander, I can't remember, but aren't selfie sticks banned at Comic-Con?
Yes, they are.
That's a good point. There you go. Wave 4 from Dan Berry, he says DC. It's not the worst idea in the world. Okay. Yes, cool. Excellent stuff. Sarita P, I think a majority will be shared. Super Catchick, I'm putting good energy out into the universe for a Thor Ragnarok 6-inch Hulk in battle armor. Oh, that would be glorious. So, yeah, very, very good indeed. Excellent stuff. Right, so if you do head to an Englishman in San Diego.com, there is a dedicated page for the exclusives. There isn't too much in terms of other ones. I know there's been a couple of announcements, but to be honest, I think they're a little bit, they're not fantastic. I don't think they're kind of worth mentioning here. I know the Symbiote Studios ones, for example, which are the catnip cuties. Yeah, even Melissa's just pulling a face at this point. But no, they're exclusives. I mean, let's just, well, very quickly, let's just show you these. These are no, might as well. These are. I think the reason why I'm a little bit. Number one, nobody knows the brand. Number two, they're actually bloody expensive. These are the keychains, which, by the way, are free. Those you can pick up. All you have to do is play rock, paper, scissors with somebody at the booth. Hey, what the hell? Okay, knock yourself out. But you have these things, which are the Catnip Bravo plushes. These are $25 each. Wow. Which is, while I guarantee they will probably be pretty good quality, that's not cheap. Although I quite like the banana one. Okay, I'm not gonna lie.
That one's nice.
$20, $25, $29. That's, yeah, that's a bit rich for my blood. So there we go. One or two people asking about the exclusives from Mattel. I'm doing my best trying to find out a date. We have yet to know when they're going to get released. One or two people asking about the Hasbro ones as well. At the moment, we've only got the announcements that we've had, which was for the Marvel Legends, the Black Series. Oh, and oh yes, the Transformers last night. Has everyone seen this yet?
But
I don't know if there's much chatter on the forum about this, which is yeah, a Optimus Prime,
Nice.
which is going to transform into Prime and into a truck. Prime truck. Prime truck. It's called a Transformers, kids. That's how it's right there in the title. Although you do also get yourself a bit of rubber from the actual set Optimus Prime. But of course.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay. And there's Mark sharing the same face as I'm doing with. Okay, you get a bit of tire.
Get a bit of Michael Bay's work. Fantastic.
Oh, stop.
Dear.
like getting those common film stills like a few years ago.
Okay. So there we go. Those are the exclusives as announced. I believe that we've got a couple more coming out, but it's all about the Mattel exclusives, which people are trying to find out about at the moment. Let's go through a couple of last-minute questions before we do start wrapping things up. Angela Copley loves the Coraline set.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's wonderful.
What's this?
It's NECA, I believe.
A lot of talk.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm behind on those. The only ones I've seen are the Bill and Ted's action. Oh no, I'm going to bring that up because that's actually rather tasty. This is the one from NECA, which is a from Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, which is a very nicely detailed, actually.
Yeah, it is.
A death figure. Which is rather nice. I mean, the face is. Look at that! They might as well have just photoshopped him in. That's just incredible. So yeah, that's going to be a death figure that they brought out. That's from NECA. No, I didn't know about the Coraline set, so I'm going to have to look into that.
It does look nice. I agree. I wouldn't get it, but it's more friendly than the exclusive that Leonard posted.
Yeah. Other exclusives which have been announced, which somebody is talking about in terms of the Enterprise, which was part of the Diamond Select Toys figures Diamond Comics, that was announced. We've already known about the Batman Beyond resin busts, and we know all about the Marvel Gallery Deadpool and the Iron Giant variant. But the one that has been pointed out, let me see if I can find it, is the Star Trek Enterprise Final Flight, which is a stand, comes on a stand. And yeah, it's basically off the back of Star Trek 3 Search for Spock. This is where I now look at Alyssa's face to see what she thinks of it. Although someone did quite frankly say, hang on a second, when that thing crashed, wasn't the dish pretty much nearly destroyed? At which point the guys from Diamond Select turned around and said, well, this is what we feel about the Enterprise, not necessarily how it looked on screen. Okay, fine, fair enough. Yeah, like I say, comes on a stand, but also comes there as a battle damaged or coming into the atmosphere, destroyed in Star Trek 3 as the NCC 1701 Alpha. So there we go. What else? I think Andrew Dickinson. That's all horrible. Okay, thank you very much indeed for that. Scott, yeah, don't hold back. Scott's still not a fan of the Orange Enterprise. I know why it's like that. I just find it ugly. No, it makes
the color a little bit. I'm a little challenged with the color, and I'm a Trek fan and challenged.
Yeah.
If you do a backdrop, you have a backdrop of Genesis, and you could like how I think I saw a picture a friend of mine sent to me on Facebook where you actually have a backdrop of the planet and it going into the atmosphere. That works.
That would
But
work
on its own.
with some kind of context.
Yeah, on its own, it's going to elicit a few questions like, why is the Enterprise orange?
Yeah. And last but not least, now this is not going to be the only exclusives that he's bringing, and they're not. Well, they are exclusive to Comic-Con, but they're not San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. This is from Alex Ross, which I guarantee his booth is going to be gorgeous because he really pushed the boat out on the booth design in 2016. So expect to see this hung in prime glory, which is, he's actually doing some Universal Monsters as prints this year. He's done a Frankenstein black and white, which just looks absolutely stunning. And then you've got this as a Dracula. How awesome is that?
That looks really good.
That's really tasty. Those are going to be appearing on the Alex Ross booth when we find out. Last year it was just alongside the DC booth. It was just a couple of blocks up from DC. So no, very tasty indeed. There's also actually a very nice battle-scarred Batman, which he's teased as well, which I'm looking forward. Aaron Neighbors, the Frankenstein anniversary is next year, so it's in good timing for that. So there we go. Anything else that's been mentioned? Alyssa?
I was just going to say, speaking of Aaron Nabis, I was going to do my weekly shout out for, this is not for people who've actually done something yesterday and today or today, but if you don't want to hear me say, I told you so at San Diego, perhaps now is the time to do something SDCC fit. Take a walk around the block. Back to our regular.
Or sit in front of the television with all the pilots that we've been discussing and eat pizza.
Yeah.
The popcorn, Shake Shack burgers.
Oh, popcorn. I went to the movie with a girlfriend of mine, and she insisted on getting popcorn. And I was like, I can't have somebody sitting next to me eating popcorn and not have popcorn. So I had to have movie popcorn. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. Okay, so that's our show for this week. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it. We really did get into a whole bunch of stuff. The only thing I don't think we really touched on, and very quickly talking to Mark, Venomverse. Will we get something this year?
Who knows? Who knows? You know, it keeps coming around, doesn't it? They keep teasing it, and then it goes a bit dark, and we never know, and then it comes back around. Oh, who knows with that one, really?
Well, didn't they cast Tom Hardy this past week?
Tom Hardy's been cast in everything this past week. That's the problem. He's now playing Jafar in Aladdin, and you know, the only thing we know about Tom Hardy, and I don't want to touch on this too much because it might upset me, is that his dog died this week.
He did.
Yeah.
No, he did. Yeah, it was. No, that was quite emotional because his dog appeared with him everywhere, and it was quite a touching tribute with that. Speaking of Tom, well, let's talk about Tom Hardy then, because that was going to be my segue into D23, which takes place the weekend before San Diego Comic-Con, of course. And already we have apparently now a full panel lineup for D23. It's all been kind of put together. All the jigsaw puzzle pieces have been laid out, including the Magicians, which got announced yesterday. We are going to be doing a D23 special next week, next Sunday. We're going to be having someone join us to talk about D23, the best way to move around the convention, things we can expect to see, and if you've never been to D23, what you can expect at the Anaheim Convention Center. There's a question there from Andrew Dickinson. Can you get your badges the day before at D23? Those are the kind of things that we're going to be bringing up next week. So do join us. It is a D23 special show. And hopefully we'll see not only Tom Hardy on stage, but also Guy Ritchie as they announce the live action of Aladdin on stage. Who knows? That could be interesting. So there we go. Oh, Dan Bray saying the magicians at Idiot Fest, not D23. Sorry about that, mate. Yeah, I got that right. I knew I was getting confused. But no, we are going to be getting it. So D23 is what we're going to talk about next week. Anything else that we want to wrap up on, Alyssa?
Adam West.
Right. Well, yes. Who wants to do this? I'll tell you what. I'll pass this over to Mark Searby. Would you like to... Yes, say a few words.
Yeah, just 2 minutes. Adam West, obviously everybody knew him as Batman. I think most people probably grew up on his Batman. Whilst it was campy, whilst it was fun, it was still the Batman that we'll all remember. It's always going to be voted one of the best as well. But the thing that got me, having noticed this, two things actually, is that his acting credits are over 190 on IMDb, so he's done a lot. However, the funny thing that I found about Adam West is that if you take away Batman and you take away Family Guy, the guy really struggled to be a proper actor. You know, he embraced the B-movie roots a little bit, but he struggled to be an on-screen actor, just him and his face, basically. So then, if you look on his IMDb, you will see somewhere around the late 80s, early 90s, he started to embrace doing voice acting. And that's where it took off from him. And obviously, now everybody does voice acting. So I think we have Adam West to thank for taking voice acting from being, hey, we don't know who this is, but it doesn't make any difference, to being, oh, we know this is Adam West, or we know this is so-and-so. So I think he was very instrumental in taking voice acting from being, oh, it doesn't matter, to being, okay, that we need to get somebody who's got a distinct voice.
Yeah. I was actually heartbroken because I always held out hope that we would get a definitive Dark Knight Returns and have Adam West voicing the older Bruce Wayne. I know Kevin Conroy has his fans, but Adam West, I think, would have been absolutely perfect for that. But there we go. On behalf of the entire Englishman in San Diego and, of course, the podcast, we say our condolences to his family and friends, because it is a great loss. If you saw him at a convention, you know just how nice the guy was. He was incredibly generous with his time. I bumped into him almost literally on the way to his signing table. He was heading there, and I pretty much ran the guy over, which was interesting. But he stopped and grabbed me by the shoulders. He told me to calm down. He told himself to calm down, to soak in the Comic-Con and the sales, look around and enjoy it. And I just went, you know what? You pretty much hit the nail on the head there. So no, that's my Adam West story. We're going to miss him, and our condolences certainly to the work of Adam West, who passed away yesterday. Right, I think that's us. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. I'd like to oh, hang on a sec. Oh no, we've got the week in TV, haven't we?
Yes.
Haven't we talked enough about TV this week?
Go
on then, Alyssa.
I will be brief. But last week was so spectacular, with Fear returning, and Dark Matter, and Winona Earp, and Orange is the New Black, and Leftovers, and Gotham, and Orphan Black. We're leading into next week, which, yes, as Kevin shows us his shirt, absolutely. So I hope everybody has enjoyed last week's show. Tonight we've got Fear, will be on. Also have Kevin Spacey is hosting the Tony, the theatrical award show, the Tonys. So if you like award shows and enjoy tongue-in-cheek humor and some good dancing, it should be interesting. I kind of liberally use the fast forward button through those.
It hasn't got my boyfriend Neil Patrick Harris involved. I couldn't care less.
Right.
But James Corden, I think, will be coming back next year.
It was worth it last year. I watched it. It was worth it because my sexually questioning son walked through and was just floored by all of the male dancers. So I loved it for that one reason. This week we also get Blood Drive, the the show on SciFi that we've been talking about quite a bit. That's rather gory. So we're looking forward to that. And the perennial favorite of Face Off is happening. They're coming back for their gazillionth season. Well, it's right up there with The Survivor and those types of shows. One other thing that is happening, which I really like, if you guys like history and spy networks, is The Turn on AMC. It's into their final season, is premiering this week, I think Friday. That's a fun show if you want to binge. If you want to kind of get an idea of, this is where people were first starting to think about how spycraft works. And that was really, they've got a couple of really fun things with how they actually did the spycraft. Handmaid's Tale Ends Up is the final is this Wednesday. Concludes their first season on Wednesday, and we hope that so anybody who's thought about getting a 1 month binge for that free, your first month free to Hulu, now's the time to get it, because you could probably binge the whole thing in a week. And that's the week in television. And did I miss anything? Well, did I miss anything?
No, you did not. But Turn is actually Saturday. That's good. Other than that, PBS has a couple of things this summer as well. This week starts The Tunnel, which is, I would say, maybe worth a watch if you want something a little bit more, I would say, off the beaten path of typical TV series. And then pretty much for me, it's, of course, Doctor Who and Orphan Black. So I'm a BBC America guy. That's it.
Fair enough. We've got Kitty Gunn and Awesome Socks having a bit of a binge, or sorry, a bit of a love fest at the moment about Twin Peaks on the Q&A. We could be seeing, I mean, I'm still not convinced that we'll be seeing it at Comic-Con, but everyone seems to be shouting me down. So, yeah, what else is new? So there we go. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today. I'd like to thank my guests, as always. Where can people find you online, Kevin?
At FOCC blog. This is a Twitter handle, and also writing for the Friends of Comic-Con blog site. And oh yeah, at Kevin DW42.
Excellent stuff. It's always good to promote your own Twitter in there as well. You can't just be a slave to Alyssa all the time, man. Come on.
No.
Yeah. Stand up for yourself, man. Show some independence. Show some spine. And where can people find you online, Mark?
MarkSearby.com, my own little website. I'm on Twitter, Mark_Searby. On there every Thursday night in the UK on the Anglian radio station doing the film reviews. I then tweet them out over the weekend so people can listen to them again. And also, if you type my name into Amazon, you get this. So feel free to
actually get that.
Well, you will for a few dollars or a few pounds, yes. However, if you type it into Amazon, then yes, you can pick this up. It's a delightful book. As I said, it's nice and thick. It's got some photos in it as well. So if you do buy it, please leave a review on Amazon or Goodreads. It really helps with the numbers, basically.
So what's the cost?
Yeah. I'm about to post a tweet with the link so people can pick it up from Amazon. So yeah, there you go. That's my contribution to, the cause. The cause. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Where can people find you, Alyssa?
At Friends of CCI is my Twitter handle, and on the site friendsofcc.com.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, see you next week. Like I say, it's going to be a D23 episode talking about what you can expect when you get into Anaheim and what you can actually expect from the show. I've never been to D23, so I'm very excited about finding out what this convention is all about. Corgi Commander is hoping that he will be bumping into Mark Searby at San Diego so he can get his copy of Al Pacino, the movies behind the man, signed, because at least then he can stand and say that, just like Michael Rooker, I've got a signed copy of this book.
And also, I know how to spell Jason, so that's quite easy. I won't have that mind fart of thinking, have I spelt it wrong? So yeah, that'll be fine.
Oh my word! Excellent stuff. You can find out more of my stuff on Twitter at Englishman SDCC. You can also find me on YouTube, on Instagram, on Google Plus, and YouTube. I've said YouTube. Yes, subscribe on YouTube. Then you can see when we do this show again live. And of course, you can find all the stuff that I do on EnglishmanInSanDiego.com.
And if
thank you very much indeed.
And if you'd like to support the site,
yes, of course. If you want, you see, I'm not the hardcore pimp like Mark Searby. If you want to support the show, of course,
watch it.
you can head to patreon.com/EnglishmanSDCC to show your support and shove any pennies in my direction to help us keep doing what we do. Do take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your week. Keep your eyes open for those Funko Pops that get announced over the course of the week, and we'll talk about those, of course, as well as D23 next Sunday. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.